Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reacting to episode 2 of series 2 of the Apothecary Diaries. And we saw that there is a caravan coming, though I have a feeling nothing is going to go as straightforward as it seems, that potentially this could be the beginning of another deeper mystery with this show, because nothing is ever as simple as a nice, happy little visit. There's always some underlying issue that's going to crop up. So hopefully we'll get Detective Mau Mau on the case, because something is going to go down. Some mischief is going to happen. But regardless, I think it'll be interesting to learn more about Gyokyu's backstory. We know that she uses gossip as a way to enhance trade with her country. That's how her country has benefited from her being a consort. So we'll probably see the fruits of that with this caravan coming. But at the same time, we'll maybe see that there could be some political tension, there could be some issues. Yeah, we really don't know much other than that. Other than she came here, she didn't feel like she really fitted in, and uses her close relationship with the emperor to enhance the trade to her country to benefit them financially. But yeah, little Lingley has a cat that is also called Mau Mau. The emperor is an absolute girl dad. She has him wrapped around her little finger, but we kind of suspected that was going to happen, because who could say no to Lingley? She's so adorable. Gyokyu is pregnant. Nobody knows really, bar her close circle, probably for her protection, but also, again, pregnancy is a high risk. There's no knowing if the pregnancy is going to be viable until she's in her second trimester, and she's still very early into the stages of her pregnancy. So it's probably safer to say nothing until it's viable, because she could very easily lose the baby. So we don't know. Hopefully she doesn't lose the baby, but I can understand why they're not saying anything until she is more safely into her pregnancy, and also probably when she gets to a stage where she can't really hide it, because she'll start showing. But Lingley's going to be a big sister, hopefully, because I don't want anything to happen to this baby. I don't want her to be a target because she's pregnant, but I have a feeling that she may become a target, because we know from series 1 that the threat of poisoning drastically increased when Gyokyu was pregnant with Lingley. So it'll probably happen again that she becomes a target because she is carrying a baby. And we know that there is an active threat towards the emperor. And the reason we know there's an active threat towards the emperor is because they're targeting Jinshi. And there's two reasons why they're targeting Jinshi. They know that he's the heir and he's going to inherit. And it doesn't matter if they know that he's the emperor's son or if they think he's the emperor's brother. It doesn't matter. Either way, he's next in line. So he is someone that they want to get rid of. Or they don't know that he's the heir, but because he is seen as this highly favored eunuch that the emperor trusts more than anyone else, because obviously the emperor sees that as his little brother. So of course he trusts him more than anyone. But to everyone else, they just see him as this eunuch that's climbed his way to power, and he's very pretty and handsome. And they suspect that like Jinshi seduced the emperor somewhat, because there's been like digs in series 1 where like it's been hinted at that people think Jinshi's maybe intimate with the emperor, or has maybe like seduced the emperor without realizing that actually father and son. But also, to anyone that knows their dynamic, they think they're brothers. But people that don't know their brothers would see Jinshi as this like power hungry ladder climbing eunuch that's close to the emperor and has his ear and his trust above anyone else. So of course they're rife with jealousy and want to get rid of him. So it could also be that whoever's trying to get rid of him wants to get rid of the closest person to the emperor to then replace that position with Lolan, because I think it is Lolan's father that is trying to get Jinshi out the picture. And again, whether he knows that Jinshi is the heir or not, it doesn't matter. Jinshi is seen as being the closest to the prince, bar Aldua. Aldua is gone. Lolan has taken her position, but Jinshi is still the closest advisor. So whether he's the heir or not, he needs to be removed from the picture in order to place someone else into that position so that they can have the emperor's ear and puppeteer him and influence him in the way that maybe Lolan's dad wants, or again, could also get Jinshi out the picture so that they can get close enough to the emperor, influence him to let his guard down and then kill him so that then they can take control. But we will see as the series progresses. But those are the two reasons. So the emperor is at risk because if they're targeting Jinshi, it's because they either want to kill the emperor by getting close to him or they want to influence him by getting close to him. So Jinshi is a stepping stone to the emperor and the kingdom as a whole. So the emperor's at risk, not just Jinshi. So that's the vibe that's being put down, because to target Jinshi is to target the emperor and it's to target the kingdom. It's treason, you're a traitor, but it means that the emperor is also at risk. So it could be that then if people know that Gyokyu is pregnant, she becomes even more targeted because, again, it's another way of getting at the emperor. It's removing another child from the picture and a potential heir, because until the baby's born, they don't know if it's a boy or a girl. So they don't want to run the risk of it being a boy that could inherit. So again, we could then see the threat against Gyokyu go up, but also the threat against Lingli, because Lingli is still the child of the emperor. She can't inherit the throne, but she's still precious to him enough that it would absolutely devastate and crush Gyokyu to lose her daughter, but it would crush the emperor as well because he dotes on that little girl. So I hope nothing bad happens to Lingli, but I am glad that Mao Mao is teaching her about fungi and what is poisonous and what is safe, because that could really help her in the long run. And I think that's going to come back around at some point in this series, because that's 2 episodes where we've seen that mentioned, where Gyokyu has stressed that it is important, and Mao Mao is making sure that Lingli knows this information, and I think that could save Lingli's life in the future. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 2.
異国の特使を迎える先行隊ゆえ、いつもより規模が大きく、期間も長いと聞い。
大事な外交の相手だ。引き続き頼む。
御意。
Jinshi's about to get even busier.
そろそろ衣替えをしようと思います。
Lingli is so adorable. Honestly, she makes me so happy every time I see her. She's just so cute.
はい、本ニャン様。こっちは一時期すごく流行ったんだけど、流行り物って時期が過ぎると途端に使えなくなるのよね。古いのはどうされるんですか？職人が作り直して、玉葉様の故郷、裁縫で配るのよ。
Oh, they get distributed to those that need
念のた
them.
め、防虫用の構想を入れておきますね。そういえば、もう少ししたら新しい次女が来るわよ。
Oh? Is that who's in the caravan?
50人以上も次女や下女を引き連れて受代した妃がいるんだから。
That's
玉
excessive.
葉様だってね。
As I said, it feels like a power move.
確かに帝の長妃である玉葉様の次女が5人しかいないのは世間体が悪い。
But Lady Gyokyu has the best ladies in waiting, because she can trust each and every one of them to have her back. Not about how many you have, it's about how many you can trust. And we know that Li Hua has ladies in waiting that she couldn't trust, because we know that one of them knocked that flower off in series 1 that resulted in Li Hua's son dying. We also know that one was fucking foolish and was putting makeup on her, even though the makeup had been banned because it was literally poisoning people. But she was like, yeah, she still needs to look pretty. Yes, she learned her lesson, and she was doing it because she didn't want her to lose favor with the emperor. She wanted her to still be a concubine. She thought she was helping, but her foolishness could have led to Li Hua dying. So, you know, it is frustrating, and Mao Mao was well within her right to slap the audacity out of her. And she learned her lesson, and she got restored, and everything's fine. But we do know from experience, it's not necessarily how many you have, it's who you can trust. And yeah, Li Hua may have 30 ladies in waiting. Doesn't mean she can trust all of them. And we also know that Li Shu has a lot of ladies in waiting, again, she can't trust half of them because they steer her wrong. The only one she can trust is her food taster, who actually has kind of taken on the position of head lady in waiting anyway. She's the only one that gives a shit about this poor girl. All the others are there to make a mockery of her and to tease and bully her. And Lolan, it's a power move. I don't necessarily think it's her that wants that many. I think it's her dad that's trying to make a point and a statement that everyone should respect his daughter, that look at his daughter, look at the authority she commands, look at her position in court so soon. He wants people to flock to his daughter, thinking that she has this special influence over the emperor. That's what it is. It's a power move. So I understand why they need to bring more in for Lady Gyokyu, because if they don't, it's going to look bad. People are going to start talking about her. And in this time period, gossip is dangerous. Gossip can lead to people dying and losing their heads. So if they have to bring in more ladies in waiting to thwart rumor and gossip, then that's what they've got to do to protect Gyokyu. And by extension, the baby that she's pregnant with and Ling Li.
よくよ様はこういう時いつもお小遣いをくれるの。あ、どうしたの？おしゃべりばかりしてないで手を動かしなさい。
Dora, like, she's stressed.
私も本人に怒られないように気をつけなくちゃね。
Is she pregnant as well? Is she having a baby?
リファ様。
シン、これを皆に。
Is that who knocked it off in series 1? Kind of looks like her in the first episode. It's like the similar hairstyle and color. I think it must be her.
お願いね。
She was rubbing her belly. Maybe she's gonna have a baby too.
シン様、診療所からことづてです。
診療所からことづて？
What the fuck was that look for? Li Hua could be pregnant and Shin is jealous, doesn't like the fact that she could be having a baby. Is it she's envious of the position that Li Hua's in, that she wants to be Li Hua, she wants to be in her place, and she's angry that it's not her, so she takes it out on Li Hua? Because I'm like pretty sure she looks very similar to the woman that saw that that flower was on the windowsill and knocked it off. Not that she knew what the letter said, because she didn't read it, she just knocked it off the windowsill, but still, that in itself was the catalyst for Li Hua's son dying. So she is responsible, whether it was intentional or not, she was responsible for the prince dying. I don't think you could argue that it was treason because she didn't know that that could save the prince, but she looks similar to the woman in series 1. So could it be her? Could it have been Shin? It might have been. And she also doesn't look happy that that letter from the clinic came back. And we don't know if she is actually pregnant, but the fact that she's like rubbing her belly makes me think that she could be pregnant and that Shin is pissed that she's pregnant because it elevates her status and it secures the emperor's love and affection because she's going to give him another child. It's another chance for her to prove herself essentially in court. I hope Li Hua doesn't lose this baby.
いいなぁ。私も新しい服とか欲しい。着てく場所ないけど。分かってるけど欲しい。
Don't ruin her hope.
高級。
She's so realistic sometimes. She's
こんなに
like,
人がいるのに
nowhere to
店
wear
はな
it
い
to.
し、医者もやぶ医者しかいないし。
Oh,
病気にでもかかったらすぐ広がってしまいそうだが。
that he's spending time with the cat. He should have been a veterinarian rather than a doctor. He's so good with animals, but not so much with people.
それでも重病にかかった時は実家に帰されるが。
ねえ、マオマオ。
ん？
最後の日なら少し時間をもらえそうなんだけど。
誘われて悪い気はしないな。
Oh, she wants to hang out with her.
その点一部屋に入りきる玉葉費は経済的だ。
She only buys what she needs.
が来るから
今日の分は片付けますよ。
It's very pretty. I love that.
袖のついた着物と胸のすぐ下で帯を締めるスカートが多いな。このタイプ以外の服はなかったのですか？
こればっかりだったわよ。
しかしお腹が大きくなれば締め付けない服を選ぶだろう。それを踏まえた上であえてこういうデザインのものを持ち込んだとしたら、明日は帯を腰でしっかり締めるデザインのものがあるか聞いた方がいいと思います。
そうね。もっと違うものを買って
It's
おかない
because
と。
she doesn't want anyone to start gossiping that she's pregnant because of what she's bought. Maybe she just wasn't thinking when she bought the designs and was thinking for the future when her belly expands. But Mama's right. People will gossip if they see that she's not buying the more restrictive fancy outfits.
これください。
Oh,
似合ってる。
oh, that's so cute.
妹とやらがいたらこんな生き物なのだろうか。
Yes, she is your little sister. Oh, I adore them. Their friendship makes me so happy. I'd love to have like a girl friendship like that. They're so cute.
最終日に来た理由がもう一つある。値引きだ。高級という特殊な場所で適正価格で品物を売るとは思えない。簡単にぼったくれると思うなよ。
She's learned from the best, Granny.
ジャスミン茶か。これください。待って。
Oh, she's back.
猫ちゃん元気？
元気にしてる。今医局にいる。
She's coming into this quite a lot. She's gonna be an integral
お
character.
休みもらったの？あ、マオマオに紙紐買ってもらったんだ。かわいい。
So cute.
二人は知り合いか。シャオランと同じ娼服の衣を着ているということは、いつもの洗濯場を使っている女官なのだろう。
おちゃんに友達がいるなんて知らなかったよ。
Little
ヤブ医者が
Mau
大変失礼なことを言ってくれるが本当のことなので仕方ないだろう。
I love how Mama's like, I don't like cats.
なんか変な名前だね。
マオマオの方がよっぽど変だ。
お茶でも
Oh,
入れようかね。
お茶は
Baby
持ってきました。
じゃあ茶菓子だね。
so sleepy. I love this show. The show has my whole heart. Pretty.
いい香
I've never had jasmine tea, but that's so cool. Can I confirm if anyone has had jasmine tea? Is it like that? Or that's really cool.
それはね、近々異国から特使が来るかららしいよ。
り。へえ、偉い人が来るんですね。
それ言っちゃっていいんですかね。
変な匂いね。
There was mention of
あっちは荒れている
disease. I
から
hope
ね。水路でも
nobody
詰ま
gets
ったかな。
sick.
汚物を流す地下水路が詰まれば地上に匂いが出てくるかもしれない。
Because Mama was talking about the waterways and that, like, it keeps disease at bay.
ここにはたくさん虫がいるから。
Is she gonna be like Mau Mau but obsessed with bugs?
虫もまた薬の材料になる。カマキリの卵巣は精力剤になり、ミミズは解
I
熱
wonder if
効
we'll
果があ
ever
る。
learn what
南
Mama's
の果
gonna
樹
use
園とかはしっか
that
り手入れされているからあまりいないけど。
caterpillar
北
fungi
側の
for.
廃墟とかいい感じ。
雲集めるのが大変でまだ試したことがないが、雲の糸には止血効果があるという。
行く？行って
行く、
Oh,
行ってみる。
みる？見てみて。
Dynamic
これ色々ぷっくりしてて可愛いんだ。食べると美味しくてママも
she's found someone just as quirky as her. I love it. Someone's coughing. There's gonna be an illness that goes round, right? Someone's gonna bring
キャラバンが去って数
an
日、
illness in.
高級
to the
で
rear
は
palace.
紅油が大流行している。
There was a lot of coughing.
装備か。この前作った装備水を売りさばけば儲かるかもしれないな。いや、匂いが強い装備の精油は妊婦に悪い影響を与え
And
て
cause
しまう。
miscarriage.
今の翡翠球にはこの匂いも。
everyone's wearing the rose scent, aren't they? And are maybe trying to induce subtly a miscarriage. Li Hua. Did Shin
あなた
orchestrate
何のつもり？
this?
水晶宮の次女頭シンから抗議文が届いている。お前はもう少し節度がある人間だと思っていなんだその変態のような言い訳は。
今度はちゃんと了解を取って鍵ます。
なぜ家具？
人士様、そこに書かれているものを読んでいただいてもよろしいですか？
どれも香の名前みたいね。
今日私が嗅いだ女官たちがつけていた香料や精油の名前です。どれも妊婦に害のあるものばかりです。キャラバンには香油の他にも香辛料や茶葉も売られていました。ジャスミンには子宮を収縮させる作用があります。そしてカラシは妓女の堕胎剤によく使われる材料です。
It could be trying to prevent pregnancies in the consorts.
これってあれに似ていませんか？
あれってなんだ？
あまり副作用が知られていないもの、似ていませんか？倫理
The
妃の
makeup.
リファ妃の巫女を死なせたものに。
Because trends move fast and it's targeting the consorts because of how fast people latch on to the trends. But it's not poison to kill the consorts. It's poison to prevent the consorts from having babies.
偶然が重なり必然となったあの事件に似ている。仮死状態から蘇り逃
So
亡した女官。
someone's actively trying to prevent
未だに分かっていない。
children to the emperor being born.
中止での暗殺未遂事件は多くの人間が関わっている可能性が高い。その手がどこまで伸びているのか。
Far enough, it seems.
香油が流行しなければ気づくこともなかった。今回だけこんなに入ってきたのかもしれない。どれが偶然で、どれが必
Have
然
they
なのか。
snuck it
そ
in
れすらもよくわからない。
amongst the caravan so it looks less suspicious? Because it's just seen as everyone being excited over all the new purchases and trends.
それは毒ではなかったのか？
She's not pregnant though, is she?
毒もまた少量では薬です。
But she's also
何
not
より
pregnant.
お茶一杯でどうにかなるようなものではありませんし、私は妊婦でもありません。
Bet Jinshi wishes she was.
俺にも茶をくれないか？
何茶がよろしいですか？
これと同じものがいい。この茶には他にどんな作用がある？
心を和らげます。不眠にも効きますし、目覚めの効果もあります。他に、妊娠中はよくありませんが、出産する場合、分娩を促すと聞いたことがあります。
So it can be easy to deceive yourself into thinking that it's helpful. A bit like feeding the newborn prince honey, thinking it would help and be medicinal, but it actually caused him to die.
ありました。
どんな？
不妊です。主に男性側が原因。
He's like, nope.
ああ、これはいかん。皮肉にしては効きすぎたか。
あまり好みじゃないな。
人妃が亡くなりました。
人妃が？毒？まさか。
Oh, so it was poison then. It wasn't. I thought maybe it was like an illness, like the plague or something, but no, fuck, it's poison. And she had all those bottles, so something has infiltrated. Also, oh my god. Do we get to see those women in the caravan? Or not? Because we haven't seen them. And the fact that it's focusing on Gyokyu and the tea is making me really fearful that that could be something that it shouldn't be. But yeah, it's not just Jinshi they're targeting, they're also targeting all the consorts and their potential ability to have children. They're targeting the babies. It's not just about Lingli, because there was also a boy at the time. Li Hua had a son. That son was the heir, and he also passed away. Lingli was impacted too, but she wouldn't have been the true target. The true target would have been Li Hua's son. So it's like this all extends to targeting the emperor once more, because they're trying to get rid of Jinshi. They're trying to assassinate him because of his closeness to the emperor, but also potentially because they know he's the heir. Even if they don't know he's the heir, it's because he's close to the emperor. So it's removing someone that he trusts from the picture, which makes him vulnerable because he has no one else to depend upon. Then there's the discussion of trends and fads and how quickly it circulates around the rear palace amongst the lower ranks and then to the consorts themselves. So the makeup, that became a trend. It was a fad that inflicted harm upon the babies because it had lead in it. It poisoned the babies unintentionally, but this trend is what killed them. Now we have the trend of strong scents, jasmine tea, which can cause and induce miscarriages because it contracts the uterus. We have scents that can also induce miscarriages. We have people almost trying to root out if Gyokyu is pregnant by only really displaying clothes that would expand with a pregnancy, and those are the only ones that she bought, which Mao Mao clocked onto is like, that's risky because if people think that you're pregnant, you're going to become more of a target. You need to buy things that are more restrictive to make sure that nobody catches on. So I don't think it's necessarily anyone from the West, but I think it's whoever's orchestrated this attack on Jinshi has made sure to infiltrate the caravan and is bringing stuff in. A bit like how in series 1 we had small instances that eventually, when you got the bigger picture, revealed a larger plot to assassinate Jinshi. But like that, there were small instances that all came together. So it's kind of similar here. That's what Mamo's saying, is how much is planned and how much is just coincidental. How much is willingly and maliciously orchestrated and how much is just, it happens to be here because that's trending in the West and it's what's being sold. So that's what she needs to figure out, is if someone is doing this, how intentional is it? Because again, in small amounts, none of these cause problems, but it's the excessive nature of it. It's the combination of all these ingredients being popular and being massively sold in the rear palace that makes it an issue, because it's something that the consorts will come into contact with. It's something that could then impact the consorts who are pregnant. Gyokyu is pregnant, and we kind of got the hint that Li Hua might be pregnant too. So those two would be negatively impacted and would likely lose their babies. So, you know, that's the point that Mao Mao's trying to make, is that it could be coincidental, but the large extent of it is what makes it suspicious. I love, though, that Mama has a little friend that's just as nerdy as she is. But it's the fact that when she runs into the pavilion, I thought at first, did she click somehow that Li Hua might be pregnant? But it's not that. It's that her ladies are the most susceptible to trends. So they're the first ones to latch onto it and kind of popularize it. So she wants to make sure that they're not potentially bringing anything in that could be dangerous and harmful in large doses to Li Hua, who could be pregnant, because she doesn't necessarily know that she's pregnant, but she knows that she is with the emperor intimately, and that there could always be the potential at any point for Li Hua to be pregnant. So it is to protect Li Hua, but the other consorts as well. So go Mao Mao, who's wanting to make sure that all of them are protective, but she's just so clever, and how she quickly catches on. When she smells the scent, she's like, oh my god, that can negatively impact a pregnancy. And then she's like, I need to go make sure that the other ladies in waiting aren't potentially causing an issue. Mao Mao's suspecting that somebody's aware that Gyokyu is pregnant, or they suspect it enough to use these outfits almost as bait. Because the seriousness with which Gyokyu clocked onto what Mao Mao's saying, that they need to buy clothes that are in her usual style, because buying these less restrictive outfits, which she wouldn't wear unless she was pregnant, is going to confirm the suspicions to whoever's orchestrating this that Gyokyu is indeed pregnant. And it's going to become even more intense to prevent that pregnancy from happening, and she'll be even more targeted. But it's the fact that somebody has brought these dresses in. Somebody knows, even though she's saying that no one on the outside knows. So it could just be that they're trying to catch her out. Not that they necessarily know that she's pregnant, like 100%, but it could be their way of confirming it. their way of trying to suss her out, catch her out, which is fucked if so, because they're actively doing it to try and prevent her from continuing this pregnancy. But nonetheless, Detective Mao Mao is on the case, and Detective Mao Mao now has a new friend that loves insects, and Mao Mao also loves insects because they can be used in medicine, so she has a friend. So in the next episode, we'll probably learn more about those two women that were in the caravan, but also about the mid-rank concubine that passed away, which is crazy. I thought it was maybe somebody bringing like disease into the rear palace, because there was mention of the waterways becoming clogged, and that's what was kind of causing like a foul smell. And then there was the mention of how like it prevents disease. So I was worried that potentially we are going to see like an illness filter through and people potentially impacted by that. But no, somebody has been well and truly poisoned. But as to where that poison lies is going to be very fascinating. It's just the way in which they're pouring the tea, and it's very ominous. And I'm hoping Gyokyu's okay and that nothing happens to her and her baby, because her ladies in waiting would never be able to forgive themselves. But I feel like it's trying to make us think that her head lady in waiting's trying to like kill her or something, because the way that it's focusing on her and the way that her eyes are looking down at it, like really sort of intense. It's almost like she's dejected. Or it could just be that they're insinuating that potentially this tea could be poisoned and Gyokyu is the true target. Or that Gyokyu maybe suspects that she knows what's going on, or that the head lady in waiting could somehow be involved in this plot too, which would be fucking wild if she is, because she's so nice. You would never suspect her, but then again, it is the person you least expect, so maybe that's what they're trying to do. But I fucking hope not, because I love her, and if she betrays Gyokyu like that, I will be angry. But Gyokyu's also looking into the tea and looking quite dejected, so I'm not sure. I'm just throwing theories out there, and they may stick and they may be right, or they may be completely out of pocket, but I'm just throwing them out there just in case. But we won't know until we watch the next episode. But until the next episode, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!